Anyway, right, let's get into your mailbag. If you want to submit a question to the mailbag, all you got to do is become one of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon at any dollar amount and leave a comment in the community section. Do not email me. I will just lose it. Flaming Live, Luke, you're a Mega Drive fan. I'm also one, but one of the greatest games ever on the system is Shining Force and Shining Force 2, two of the best games on the system. These games that needed to come up in the mainstream so they can have a resurgence. Thought. The question is, why don't people like tactic-based games like Shining Force and Fire Emblem? It's because Final Fantasy Tactics killed all other games, past and future. Fascinating question there, Flaming Clive. I mean, I think Shining Force and Shining Force 2 did get the recognition they deserved, particularly sort of like from Genesis fan base and from the RPG fans. I would say certainly. As to why people don't like tactic-based games, I just think they never really got a foothold here in the West, like a mainstream popular thing here in the West, particularly in the 90s when like games like Shining Force were out. Funny enough, my other podcast that I do is reviewing this TV show from the 90s that's about video games. And they recently did an episode where they reviewed Final Fantasy 2, which I think is Final Fantasy 4 in Japan. And they absolutely slated it. Did not like it at all. But like that's considered to be a really great game. But like here in the West, like it's just those games never really got that foothold in the 90s, and it took until Final Fantasy 7, I would say, that they've got sort of mainstream appeal. So I would say maybe that's why. Denise, are you a video game fan? Are you a player?
No, you got to know that everything that you just said to me, that you just said right now on air, sounded like a foreign language. I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I mean, I understood half of what you said, and I don't even think I understood it properly. But I was like, you know what? Good for him. Do your thing. But I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not a gamer. I'm like I feel like gaming is so popular and I'm so uncool for not being a gamer. But even when I was a kid, I wasn't interested. My cousins always wanted to play with me and I was like, sure, I'll do one game. But after that, I don't want to play anymore.
You rolling your eyes here because oh god, yeah, I'll give you one go.
Well, I felt bad for my cousin because he was by himself, so he would play video games by himself. And there's games where you want to play with somebody else, and I'd be like, oh, I just want to play Barbies. Leave me alone.
Oh, what was your favorite Barbie?
Oh my god, I don't know if I had a favorite one, but I had like hundreds of Barbies when I was a kid. Hundreds. That was my thing. I was a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world. So honestly, I'm not kidding you. Okay, so freshman year of high school, my teacher would make fun of me because we were like good friends, and she literally had a nickname for me. You will not believe what my nickname was. You want to know what my nickname was?
I want to hear it.
Freshman year. From my teacher, my creative writing teacher, she would call me Barbie.com because I would go on Barbie.com as a freshman in high school and play the games because they had games where you basically like style up the dolls and oh my God, it was so bad. But anyways, that's what I did freshman year. And then I finally grew out of it once I got into MySpace.
When I got into MySpace, that's when I grew out of Barbie.
Yeah. And then I discovered boys and yeah, things changed. That's the truth. That's the truth. MySpace broke me.
My wife's always talks about she has like very, very fond memories of her. She had the Baywatch ones.
So she was a Barbie girl too.
Oh, she was very much a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world. I got some heat yesterday for saying that I liked the WAP by Cardi B. And I'm also, maybe I'll get some heat for this. I think that Barbie Girl by Aqua is also a bit of a low-key banger. That's a great little song. I love that song. It's a great little party song. That's
yes.
Cannot deny it. Cannot deny it. Anyway, wrestling. Dwayne the Gronk Johnson says...
This is going to turn into a Barbie podcast. People are going to be like, what is this junk? Why are you talking about Barbies? It happens.
It happened. You've got to talk about Barbies. If you haven't seen it, the Toys That Made Us episode on Barbies, which is on it's a Netflix show. It's really, really good. It takes you through the entire history of the Barbie brand. Fascinating stuff. I actually interviewed a guy who worked for the Barbie brand for a long time, Tom Kalinske, because he then moved over to Sega to like run Sega of America with and basically save the Genesis. But yeah, very, very interesting man. They were going to do a Barbie movie in the early 90s or the late 80s, early 90s. They had like a script for it and everything, songs. It was going to be a musical. They had songs written for it and everything. They were all ready to go. And the reason why it never got off the ground, at least it's what Tom Kalinske told me, the reason it never got off the ground is Mattel was so protective of the Barbie brand that they didn't want the actor playing Barbie to have a scandal down the line because they didn't want that actor to be known as Barbie actor so-and-so caught in doing whatever. So they were so worried that anything could happen that would affect the Barbie brand that they just scrapped the entire movie.
That is insane, but you know what? Good for them, because you know it was going to happen. But man, I would have been so on board with that movie. I would have gone to the theaters to watch it. But you just know that now in 2020, I can almost guarantee that Barbie movie would have been very problematic.
Well, they're doing one at the moment with Rebel. I think it's Rebel Wilson is playing Barbie. I'm pretty sure it's Rebel Wilson.
Oh, I don't know.
Google that in a minute.
But did you ever watch Life Size with Tyra Banks and Lindsay Lohan?
Oh, I did not know.
Oh my God, that was my movie. I cried so hard in that movie. If anybody watched Life Size, like that was my movie.
I'm going to check that one out. Also, final thing on that: the fall of the Barbie movie indirectly led to the Street Fighter movie in 1994. The same producer went across to the Barbie movie fell apart, so he was like, "I need another project. I'm going to go and do the Street Fighter movie instead." Fun fact: I've written a book about it.